Welcome back, everyone, to AHSAA TV Weekly. We are thrilled to have on our program now McKenzie High School football coach Brian Bradford and outstanding quarterback Quay Jackson. Welcome, you guys.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
Doing great. Well, Coach, this interview is mainly to focus on a pretty incredible game that you guys got to experience. And as I read through the stats myself and some of the highlights of the game, I really just want to give you the opportunity as the coach to tell me the story of what happened that night.
Yeah, it was a crazy game to start with. It was pouring down rain through 90% of it. Playing a great team like Elba is tough to begin with, but then when you add in a bunch of bad weather, that makes it even harder. And they're a predominantly run team, and we're a predominantly throw and spread team, so that made it a little bit more difficult on us. But it was a close game. I think we were up at halftime by one or two scores, and then they came back the second half and tied it up. I know it was a record-breaking score. It ended up 80-78, but at the end of regulation, it was 48-48. So it was a high-scoring game to begin with, and then when you throw four overtimes into it, that made it even more high-scoring. And I don't think either team attempted a field goal the whole night or an extra point. It was always going for two. And then in overtime, it was scoring, going for two, scoring, going for two, 4 straight times. And we eventually stopped them on the very last one. We scored and went for two, and then they scored and went for two, and we actually got the stop on that last one in the end of the second half of the fourth overtime, which that's how we ended up getting the win.
Well, Coach, just to reiterate, in that game we had a combined point total of 158 points, which broke an AHSAA record. A lot of publicity surrounding this game. So just, Coach, overall, what does a victory like this mean to your program?
Well, it was huge. Anytime you can beat a team like Elba, no matter how you do it, it's big for our program. But it just showed our guys what we've been working on all summer. We worked on being able to finish games. Last year we didn't do a good job executing in the fourth quarter. We lost a couple close ones. So that was the focus all summer, was to get in good enough shape where we can finish ball games. And then so early in the season, game 3, for us to be able to take it to 4 overtimes and have enough gas in the tank to finish the game, we had 226 total snaps on the night. There was 104 defensive snaps and 90 offensive snaps. So, and for guys that are going both ways, that's a lot of plays. So for any time that we can do that and come away with a win, it gives our guys just a sense of knowing that we can finish games and how to fight through a lot of adversity. Because like I said, with the weather being the way it was and going against a great running back like Alvin Henderson, and then also the quarterback who's also a phenomenal athlete as well, going against them and a huge offensive line and a great defense, to have to fight the entire night that many times and just to keep up with them and us to be able to pull out a victory, no matter how we did it, is huge for our program.
Well, Quay, I understand that we can make a whole highlight reel just on you from this game. A couple of your stats: you passed for 345 yards and 6 touchdowns. You converted a state record of 6 two-point conversions, and then you also rushed for a touchdown in the game. So, Quay, with all of that in mind, what is the memory that you will take most from that game?
One memory I take from that game is when I fumbled and picked up the ball and scrambled out and threw it to our wide receiver, Skylar Sanders.
Well, Coach, let me ask you, we talk about, the team, the coaching staff, everybody who kind of had to hang in there for a very long, a game they had to stay in the fight for, especially in the pouring down rain. Did your fan base stick with you the whole time too?
Absolutely, they did. That was the amazing part, was that for 3.5 hours, it was the longest game I've ever been a part of. And for the fan base to stay there in the pouring down rain, to have a lot of people there just to show up in the first place and to believe in us to make that long drive, and then to stay there for the whole 3.5 hours was amazing. They were the loudest I've ever heard them before, so it was a great environment.
Well, Coach, I know we could talk about this game, for a really long time, but as a coach and then Quay also as a player, you can't look in the past, you can't live in the past, you got to look forward. So Coach and Quay, tell me, each of you, what do you see going forward for your team the rest of the season?
I'll start off. I see great things for us. I think every single week we have an opportunity to keep getting better, and I feel like that's what we're doing, is getting better each week. You know, each game is a whole game on itself, so and each one has a whole different life of itself, and they have different kind of problems and advantages and disadvantages. So each week we're learning who we are as a team. We're still a young team with me being only here in my second year, and some of these guys that haven't played before or are just now new to our program. So we're kind of feeling each other out a little bit, and like I said, we're getting better each week. So I'm excited as we progress that, you know, by the time we get to the playoffs, we'll be hitting on all cylinders.
And Quay, what about you? What do you think your team needs to do to continue your success the rest of the season?
I feel like our team just need to start being more leaders and start pushing each other more for the playoffs.
Well, Coach Brian Bradford and quarterback Quay Jackson, thanks so much for taking the time to join us today, and we look forward to watching you as you continue the rest of the season there at McKenzie.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back after this on AHSAA TV Weekly.